everyone, welcome back to GK Today. I'm Nuzhat Sana and in this video I'll discuss today's top current and static general studies questions for UPSC Prelims Examination 2022 onwards. And these questions are framed keeping in view both the factual as well as analytical aspects of UPSC Prelims exam. Also, I would like to inform you that these questions are part of GK Today's UPSC Prelims test series, which is available in GK Today Android app. And the test series for 2022 Prelims examination comprises total of 7500 questions, divided 2500 questions on current general studies and 5000 questions on static general studies. And the series has started from May 2021 and it will end with UPSC Prelims Examinations 2022. So if you wish to access all questions of GK Today UPSC Prelims test series, you may subscribe the test series in the app. So now without wasting any further time, let's get started.
So this is our lecture number 43 and now let's start. Question number 1. In recent times, several states have launched various applications and portals for the benefit of the farmers. Consider the following pairs in this respect. So we have to basically identify if the application or portal is rightly matched with its state or not. Okay. First is eSehmati from Karnataka. Yes, this is an application that has recently been launched by the state of Karnataka government to help the farmers to sell their produce directly to the retail chains. And it was developed with the assistance of National Informatics Center, or you can say NIC. Okay, this is right. Second is Farmopedia from Gujarat. This is a mobile application launched by the Gujarat government to provide agriculture related information to its farmers. Yes, this is also correct. And last is Kisan Suvidha application from Rajasthan. This application was launched by Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, and it is a kind of application that provides agricultural information in multiple languages. So this app belongs to Union Ministry and it does not belong to Rajasthan. Correct answer is only 1 and 2. Now apart from these three, there is this Pusa Krishi app which was launched by Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Why? So as to give solutions to the problem of farmers, and it gives information about crop varieties developed by Indian Council of Agricultural Research. Okay. Now why we have taken this question? Why it was in news? Because recently the Union government has launched Atmanirbhar Krishi application in order to provide the farmers with actionable agricultural insights and weather alerts. So in this app, data related to soil health, soil type, the weather, moisture and water table were aggregated and analyzed for generating personalized insights related to the fertilizer requirement, then crop selection and water needs for each farmer at the farm holding level. Okay. And there are various facilities that are available in Kisan Suvidha app. For example, it talks about weather, means it provides all type of weather report for that day and weather forecast for next 5 days. And also extreme weather alerts are provided. Secondly, it tells about the dealers, means name, mobile number and address of the dealers of seeds, pesticides, fertilizer and farm machinery are provided. Then it gives the information about market price and about plant protection. So in this, crop specific information related to pest management are provided, and if the condition of crop is not normal, then farmers can upload a picture or photo of the crop and send it through Kisan Suvidha application to the agricultural experts for advice. Okay. Also, there is an option of contact KCC, and this option provides facility to speak Kisan call center. Also, it gives various information regarding cold storage and go down. So these are some of the benefits of Kisan Suvidha application. Okay. Question number 2. With reference to various international sporting events, consider the following observations. First is Invictus Games is an international sport event for servicemen and servicewomen who are wounded, injured or sick. So yes, this is absolutely correct. Actually, the word Invictus means unconquered, means the person which cannot be conquered. And these games were founded by Prince Harry, and the inspiration came from his visit to the Warrior Games in the USA, where he witnessed that how sport can really help both psychologically and physically. So the first Invictus game took place in September 2014 at the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park in London. Then second Invictus game opened on 2016 at Florida, USA, and the third games were held in September 2017 in Canada. Fine. Now second is Cybathlon is an international sport event for persons with disabilities. So yes, this is also right, and in this type of event the participant compete using technical assistance system. And the first of this event was organized in Zurich, and it was in news because the 2020 Cybathlon took place on 13th and 14th of November 2020. Okay, so here both are correct. Right answer is option number C. Now apart from these two, there are Paralympic Games, which is an international multi-sport event for athletes with disabilities, and it is held as summer and winter events and is governed by International Paralympic Committee. Okay. Then there are Commonwealth Paraplegic Games, and it is a multi-sport event for athletes with disabilities from Commonwealth countries. And the last event was held in New Zealand. Now talking about Paralympic Games of 2020 that was being played in Tokyo in 2021, the players of Rajasthan have brought golden success to the state and the country. First of all, Avni Likhara won gold medal in shooting, while Devendra Jhajharia won silver medal in the event of javelin throw, and Sundar Singh Gurjar won the bronze medal in the event of javelin throw again. Okay, and the state government will give prize money of 3 crore rupees, 2 crore rupees and 1 crore rupees to the players who won gold, silver and bronze medals respectively. Okay, and the purpose of providing the prize money is to encourage the players in the state. Next question, with reference to various crocodile species in India, consider the following statements. First of all, why we have taken this news? Because World Crocodile Day is celebrated on 17th of June every year, and this day is a global awareness campaign to highlight the plight of endangered crocodiles and alligators around the world. Now let's talk about the crocodile species in India. Basically there are 3 species. First is Magar, or you can say marsh crocodiles. First of all, these are completely extinct in Bhutan and Myanmar. And talking about its protection status, it has been categorized as vulnerable in the IUCN list of threatened species. Then it is listed in Appendix 1 of CITES, and it has also been included in Schedule 1st of Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Now second are Assurine or saltwater crocodiles. These are considered as Earth's largest living crocodile species, and these are usually found in Odisha's Bhitarkanika National Park and Sundarban in West Bengal. Also they are found in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Talking about their protection status, they have been categorized as least concern in the IUCN Red List. Then they have been included in Appendix 1st of CITES, and also they are included in Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. Now last category is Ghadials. The population of Ghadial is a good indicator of clean river water, and these are mostly found in fresh waters of Himalayan rivers. And talking about protection status, it has been enlisted as critically endangered in the IUCN Red List, and again included in Appendix 1 of CITES and in Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Now let's see the options. First is both Magar and Ghadial are generally found in freshwater lakes and rivers. Actually, the Magar, or you can say marsh crocodile, is a freshwater species found in Iran and in the Indian subcontinent, while Ghadials are basically found in Chambal river. And yes, they are also found in freshwater habitats in India. So first statement is right. Second is both Magar and Ghadial are critically endangered. No. Already I have told you, Magar is in the category of vulnerable, while Ghadials are critically endangered. So this is wrong. And third is saltwater crocodile is found generally on eastern coast of India. So yes, these are found in saltwater habitats along India's eastern coast, mostly in Odisha's Bhitarkanika National Park and in Sundarbans. Already I have told you. So this is also right, and correct answer becomes only 1 and 3. Now apart from these three, what is alligator? This is a species of crocodile generally found in USA, Mexico and in China. And these are a critically endangered species. Okay. Next question. Which of the following acronyms pertain to higher education in India? First is SPARK. What does it stand for? It is Scheme for Promotion of Academic and Research Collaboration, and it is a scheme by Ministry of Education, and basically it focuses on fundamental research, emerging areas of impact, convergence, action-oriented research and innovation-driven research. Okay. So yes, this is right. Second is RUSA. It stands for Rashtriya Uchchatar Shiksha Abhiyan, and this was launched in the year 2013 to fund higher education institutions to improve the quality of higher education in India. So yes, this is also right. Third is AISHE. It stands for All India Survey on Higher Education. So it is a kind of report on the performance of higher education in India, and it is released by Department of Higher Education under the Ministry of Education. So yes, this is also right. And last is NPEGEL. What is this? National Program for Education of Girls at Elementary Education. So this program has been initiated by the Government of India to reach girls, especially the girls that are not enrolled in a school. And the program was started in July 2003, and this program is a significant component of SSA, that is Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. Okay. So this is not related to higher education, rather it is related to girl education. Okay. So correct answer becomes only 1, 2 and 3. Now coming to last question, consider the following national parks of India and their respective states. First is Dehing Patkai in Tripura. No. This is a national park in the state of Assam, and it is a rainforest habitat that got the status of national park in 2020, and it is located within the Dehing Patkai Elephant Reserve. So this one is wrong. Second is Raimona National Park in Assam. This park is another recently notified national park in the state of Assam, and with this Assam has now one of the highest number of national parks, that is total 7 in the world, after Madhya Pradesh, which has 11, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands, which has 9 national parks. Okay. Now third is Balpakram National Park in Meghalaya. Yes, it lies in Meghalaya, and it is on the UNESCO World Heritage Tentative List. And last is Namdapha National Park in Arunachal Pradesh. This is a biodiversity hotspot, and yes, lies in Arunachal Pradesh. This is also right, and correct answer becomes 2, 3 and 4, that is option number C. Now which are the 7 national parks of Assam? It is Dehing Patkai, then Raimona, and Kaziranga, then Manas, Nameri, Orang and Dibru Sakhova. Important thing is Kaziranga and Manas are the UNESCO World Heritage Sites as well. And talking about UNESCO World Heritage Sites in India, Dholavira, which is a Harappan city in Rann of Kutch, became India's 40th UNESCO World Heritage Site. And in the month of July 2021, UNESCO has inscribed the Ramappa Temple, or you can say Rudreshwara Temple, which lies at Palampet in Telangana, on the list of World Heritage Sites. So currently there are 40 UNESCO World Heritage Sites in India. And which country has the highest World Heritage Sites? These are China and Italy, with total number of 55. Okay. And talking about India, which state in India has the highest UNESCO World Heritage Sites? This is Maharashtra, with a total of 5 sites. So that's it for today. I hope you have liked the session. If you want to give any review, feedback or suggestion regarding these lectures, you can tell us in the comment section. Definitely we'll try to implement that. And now we'll meet again tomorrow with 5 more new and interesting questions. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching. And please don't forget to subscribe to GK Today. With this, me Nuzhat Sana signing off.